Hey, it's Camo with the Nashville Access Facebook show on our primetime edition. Hope you've had a great Wednesday, or wherever you're watching. It could be Thursday if you're in Australia. You get the idea. You'll figure out the time zones. Anyway, we're here at the Pet Community Center in Nashville, something a little bit different today. And I'm going to let these two ladies introduce themselves because I suck with names.
I'm Natalie Corwin, and I'm the President and CEO for Pet Community Center.
And I'm Dr. Julie Buford. I'm a veterinarian. I'm also the medical director here at the Pet Community Center.
Now, there was a great article, was it last year in the Tennessean, about how it started and how you launched it. Did that get you a lot of great attention? I mean, it's like free press, so yeah.
Yeah, it definitely helped get our story out there and kind of tell a different angle about our work and kind of and why we do the work is we care about the welfare of animals, but also about the people that are connected to those animals as well.
It's got to be a hard thing because on one hand you want to do this great, helpful, charitable thing, but the reality is you have to make a living doing that. So it's hard to make the two work together, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people ask us, like, do your veterinarians volunteer? And I'm like, no, this is a full-time job. Like, everybody who works here is, at least 40 hours a week. I don't think there's anybody, like, not putting in a full 40 hours a week. So we're very, very busy. It takes people to do this job. So we're, seeing dozens and dozens of patients a day. So it takes a lot of people.
So for people that haven't heard of you, tell us kind of an encapsulated history of the Pet Community Center.
Sure.
Go.
Well, so she's timing it.
She's really good at it.
Well, so in the beginning, Nashville in 2010, the year before we founded Pet Community Center, there were about 13,000 animals that went into the metro shelter that year, and 80% of them were euthanized. And we really thought that that was tragic and sad, and that we could do something about that. And the reality was that in most major cities across the United States, that exact same thing was happening in the cities all across the U.S. So we tried to figure out what could we do differently to save these animals, and started researching other communities that were making progress, and sort of figured out that spay-neuter was going to be the most critical thing that we could do, preventing animals from being born to later go into the shelter. And we figured out that we needed to spay and neuter, 8, 9, 10,000 animals a year in order to make that happen. So we kind of just started out with a grassroots program, all volunteer-led, where we raise a little bit of money, and then we would spay and neuter some animals, and raise a little more money, and spay and neuter some more animals. And eventually we got so busy, and there was so much demand for our services, that we decided to open a clinic of our own here in East Nashville. And so since then we've seen some really dramatic results in a positive way. We've seen the number of animals going into the shelter drop by about 50%.
Wow.
And some probably even a little more than 50% now. And then the number of animals being euthanized is now under 10%. So we've seen a very big reversal of what was happening in 2010.
Those are huge numbers. That's something to be really proud of.
Thank you.
How did you, I mean, you don't just, did you literally just put up a sign and say we're here and this is what we're doing?
So yeah, there's like sort of 3 different phases of how we did that. At first we just said, hey, here we are, we've got a Facebook page, and we do some marketing. We're trying to find people who are already interested in getting spay-neuter. They already knew what it was and they wanted it for their pet, but they just couldn't afford the market price because it can cost upwards of $300-400 in some cases.
Pet medical care is just as expensive as people medical.
Yeah, it is, and it is expensive to offer it, but people just can't afford that. So we started getting those people into our clinic, and then we started to add another component of people who couldn't pay for it, who needed it for free. So we started doing grassroots outreach and free vaccine clinics to let people know that we existed and that we had grant funds available to give them a free surgery if they needed it. So and these were people who already wanted spay-neuter but just couldn't afford, even our low-cost price. And then there's kind of a third group of people that we reach, who don't want spay-neuter, or maybe for whatever reason they want to breed their animal, or they don't know what it is, or it's just not the norm in their community. And we do a lot more. We do door-to-door outreach and try and reach people through that method to build trust and to make them feel comfortable seeking veterinary care. Because, you know, in a lot of cases, some people feel embarrassed to bring their pet to us if it's been a long time since they've seen a vet and maybe their pet has a condition. So we want to make it as comfortable as possible, judgment-free, and we're just here to support the pet owner and keep their pet healthy.
Now, where do you come into play on all of this?
Yeah, so I, as a medical director, I basically oversee the whole medical side of things, and so we I recently started last October, or actually August, with the Pet Community Center. So I came from a emergency and general practice world, so it's kind of my first, you know, dabbling into the spay neuter world, and it's been really fantastic. We we recruited a really strong team of veterinarians to help us with the mission and to kind of do some meaningful work with having a good work-life balance. And so I think the vets that we've, you know, that have been drawn to us have been, you know, really excited about the work that we're doing. And so with hiring some new veterinarians, we've been able to expand our hours and services. And so we're looking to grow from 1 full-time veterinarian to, you know, 3.5, and then work with a team of part-time vets. And that happened over the last 6 months. So I was, you know, helping with that and trying to solidify what our services are going to be. You know, so we, you know, with our, well, so we have 3 different areas. Should I talk about this? No, I guess so. The first, which is our kind of our rock, is the spay neuter portion. And so we do, our goal is 35 surgeries a day. We do spay neuter dogs and cats only, and we have a veterinarian that just does that. And so we will, right now we're booking out really far in advance. Usually it takes about 4 weeks or so to get in, and just showing that we have a long waiting list, so the need is there. So we kind of rock and roll with that side of things. And so the other service that we offer is our wellness in clinic service. And so patients will come here on a walk-in basis and get vaccines, microchips. We do heartworm testing, fetal leukemia, AIDS testing. We'll also do some fecals, deworming, and we also sell a host of preventatives for heartworm, flea, and tick prevention. We see lots of patients on those days. Sometimes it can be, I don't know what our record is.
Over 100.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
In a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we try to be really efficient and, you know, streamline. We have a vet in the room. They do a quick exam. We talk to the owner and just try to, and we kind of have a whole team of people that make that happen. It's a kind of a group effort, but the owners, and so we do that. That's the second part. I guess going to the third part, which is our newest area of expansion, is our mobile outreach clinic, and that's a arm of our wellness clinic. We'll do some of the same wellness services and wellness preventative services there, and it's traveling into the community, and we're being intentional about the locations that it goes. We're trying to go into areas with high kind of owner relinquishment rates to the shelter. We try to target areas that may not have a veterinarian close or may not have access, you know, just kind of where the need. We look at a lot of data for that. And so our goal now is to be in a certain part of the community each day. So, you know, one day we're in Madison, every day, so every Thursday, I think, right? And then,
I think so.
And on Fridays, you know, we're in the Nolensville Road area, you know, in Antioch. And so we kind of make that intentional, and we're trying to build some trust in those communities, get some, you know, new people to us and learn about our services. So
There are 2 words that really grab my attention. It's mission and community. Those are big parts of what you're all about. Explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, I think, I mean, our mission, so like just to put our mission statement out there, is to strengthen the human-animal bond through accessible veterinary care and support services.
That's catchy.
Yeah, it just rolls off the tongue. But the human-animal bond is kind of at the center of all of that, and kind of recognizing that we can't help the animals without the person trusting us enough to bring them to us, and also kind of recognizing the really important benefits that pets have on human health. They can help lower, you know, blood pressure and depression, and just there's a whole host of research about the benefits of pet ownership and the stresses that it can cause on the person when their pet is not doing well. And then there's also awesome research about how a lot of neighbors meet each other when they're walking their dogs, and just kind of like how all of that is so interconnected, and how the pets are really part of our community, and by there's this theory called One Health about how the health of people and animals and the environment are all interconnected. And so we're kind of trying to focus on, the pets and the environment and making our community stronger and healthier through that piece.
I think one strong part about it is that we really work to keep those pets with their owner and give them the tools to succeed with that. We just want, we have different, you hear rescue groups and other things, but we're trying to give the owner, all the things that they need to live a long, happy, healthy life with their pet.
Yeah, and I've had rescues all my life in Canada, England, and here. And in England, there was a rescue organization called Wickaways, and they're border collies and sheepdogs. And just that spectacular work that so many of these rescue organizations do, and you just are kind of adding to those kind of aspects, the social and medical aspect of it. That's really great. And one thing that caught me, you mentioned it, was the mobile outreach, because that's a cool thing. You actually go out in a motorhome and do almost what you do here.
Yes, we go out with a veterinarian and a veterinary assistant technician, and then we also have a mobile manager, Justin, and they go out and meet the people in the community and talk to them and build trust and just talk about what we do. And sometimes those visits are just like, what are you guys doing? People drive by and see us, and then it starts the ball rolling. I'm just like, well, is your pet spayed or neutered? Do you need a microchip? Does he have any health problems? And even if we don't do everything for everybody, we're not a vet clinic that does, MRIs and x-rays and things, but we provide information for people that just don't know where to get it. So we partner with a lot of people in the community to offer, just help relay that information.
Nashville's got a really diverse ethnic community. Do you have any language issues and cultural issues when it comes to pet owners?
Sure, yeah. We've made it a priority to have Spanish-speaking staff working here so that we can provide services. I wish we had other languages as well, because there's many languages.
I can come in and butcher a bunch of different languages. Happy to do that.
I think Spanish is the main one that we see, and they and we have translators on our staff. So
yeah, and we have to be careful. We've learned not all words translate exactly to Spanish that mean what we want them to mean. So it's nice to have native speakers who can say, don't say this, not that, because it's important.
One letter can make a difference between an insult and a helpful comment.
Exactly.
Do cultural differences come into it? Because people come into pet ownership in different countries in different ways, and when they come here, they bring that with them. Do you have challenges like that to overcome?
Sometimes yes, but I think at the very core of it, pet owners love their pets, and they want to do what's best for them. And they may have different backgrounds or sets of information that they come here with, but they all that one core thing is pretty consistent, that they want to do the best thing for their pet. So that's a great place to start from.
And Natalie has been really intentional about creating a no judgment zone here, and so she's done a wonderful job with that. So when people come in and we tell them what we do, we're not, if they don't want to neuter their pet, fine, do you need vaccines? And we kind of just just give them the information. We don't try to be like, you have to neuter your pet. We don't do anything like that. And sometimes it's a cultural thing. They're not going to alter them, but they need. Then we start talking about heartworm prevention and microchipping and other things that can keep them healthy longer. And just talk about responsible pet ownership. For people that have intact animals.
Intact and altering is also the new politically correct term. I remember the first time somebody, is your pet altered? Don't know. What has she been altered to?
Well, so we're trying to get away from saying fixed, because they're not broken to start with. Right? So anyway. Nice.
Can we take a look around the place and show people what you're all about?
Sure. Yeah,
cool, let's do it.
Okay.
And I love a parade, so this is...
You want to start a shot?
Yeah, let's do it. Come on along, Nigel, and we'll...
So anyway,
so this is the lobby. We're in a small building. It's 1,800 square feet.
He trips over the wet floor sign.
So we've got 1,800 square feet of building here. We see, anywhere from 50 to 80 patients a day. In the mornings we check in here. There's usually 15 to 20 clients checking in with their animals. We're doing 35 surgeries a day. And then also during wellness hours, folks just come in here, check in, and wait to see the doctor. So this is a very busy room. Our dog room is through here.
Bit slower, okay.
This is the dog room. This is cool.
So all of the dogs have had pre-meds, so they might be a little bit sleepy or loopy, because they're getting ready for surgery. And all the dogs and cats come in about 7:30. They're discharged by 4 o'clock. And most of our patients are owned pets. We do work with some rescue groups, but the vast majority of our patients belong to somebody. This is Kristen.
Hi, Kristen.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Just checking on some babies here. And so we're in close proximity to the surgery area for this very reason, so that the staff, the medical staff, can check on the patients. We've got cats through here. And these are all of our pet cats.
Right.
So they'll have surgery later in the afternoon. And then this is kind of the nerve central of the clinic here. So our prep area where all the animals are, they're intubated, or they're put under anesthesia. We shave their tummies, we get them all ready for surgery. The doctor is back there performing surgery, and essentially there's 2 tables and 1 doctor. So the vet assistants are essentially running the show. They're getting the animals ready and picking who's next, and then the doctor just kind of like puts on a new set of gloves, a new sterile pack, and starts the next surgery.
It's like MASH.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So it's very efficient, and they're experts at what they do. They do this all day long, so they are just little tiny incisions, great surgeons. It's a really cool system. Big ears there on that puppy. I know.
Ears and paws.
She's a good girl. Alright. So this is another cat room, and we have a community cat program that spays and neuters feral cats, and community cats that live outside. We provide humane live traps, and all of these cats are covered to help protect them from stress and so feel like they're hiding. People take the humane live traps home. They spay and neuter, or they trap the cats and bring them here. We spay and neuter them, vaccinate them, and then they also get an ear tip. So we remove the top of the left ear, just kind of flatten it out, and that's a visual sign. So if somebody's outside, if a caretaker or an animal control officer, or if they end up at a shelter, they know, oh, this is a community cat, they've been spayed and neutered. So don't do surgery again, but also they belong there, so leave them there.
That's great.
And this program has really helped contribute to the decline of intake at the shelter, because most of outdoor cats are unaltered, producing tons of kittens, and they're the ones that are flooding the shelter every year.
Is cats more of a feral problem than dogs?
Yeah, for the most part. There are some feral dogs, but it's small and contained.
That's great what you're doing, and especially that you tip them so people know that they're all altered.
Yeah.
That's great.
We've got our laundry room is back here.
We can
if you want to see them, we'll skip that.
Yeah, we don't need to see the laundry room.
It's just washer and dryer.
Yeah, we've all got those.
We have a small office, and then where we started out was our wellness room. This is the exam room where we have all the patients see the doctor.
Great.
The wellness services.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back.
And I daintily sit down in my chair. So how can people help you out?
There's lots of different ways. I mean, if you're just a pet owner, having your pet spayed and neutered and getting them vaccinated is helpful. Of course, we always need donations. So we run at about 60% program revenue, so that's people that pay for services, and then 40% fundraising. So we do rely on donors to make charitable contributions to help our mission. And then we also need volunteers. So we utilize volunteers in all of our programs and events. So it's pretty easy to get plugged in there too.
Now, this is kind of I should have done at the beginning of the interview, but I didn't. But you came to this by finding just a pet, a dog that had some issues, and then you end up being the head of this whole operation. What motivated you to say, I've got this dog and now I want to help more dogs and cats and everything else?
Well, I think my bond with her was so strong, and I really, and then seeing other pets in our neighborhood that were suffering was really tough for me. I would, lay awake at night and worry about some of the other animals in the neighborhood that had, tough living conditions. And I just, sort of not being able to sleep at night kind of motivates you to do something. And I mean, I think at first I was really naive and I thought we could just pass a bunch of laws and, blah, blah, blah. And then kind of came to realize over time, like, veterinary medicine is a lot about prevention and getting ahead of the problem, and then also giving people access to services and information, and that's really kind of at the core of the problem. So I just sort of, I don't know, it just kind of instilled this purpose in me, and it just kept propelling me forward and forward. And as we started to see the results of the power of prevention, it was like, it's so gratifying to see, oh my gosh, this actually works, and it's really making our community a better place. So it's kind of like, it just seemed natural.
That's great. I'm really excited about this. This is really a great place. So how can people donate or volunteer? How can they reach out to you to be able to do that?
It's super easy. We have donation and volunteer opportunities on our website. It's petcommunitycenter.org. And you can also just give us a call and get information as well. Our phone number is 615-512-5001. And I think that's the best way to get us, unless I'm leaving something out. Yeah.
Facebook, email.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Social media,
Instagram. We're kind of all over the place. So.
Got to be where people are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much, ladies. This has been excellent. And if you can, please go and support. It's petcommunitycenter.org. You can go to their website and it'll have links to everything. And donate or help out, volunteer if you're in Nashville. That would be great. Thanks again for doing this. Thanks for watching. This is the National Access Facebook show with Camo.